Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, with a record number of cases, Manitoba gets tougher.
We're left with no choice. We have to deal with this virus and the transmission now.
What life in the red zone will mean.
We have a little bit over 10,000 appointments booked for the first week.
The challenge to meet the demand for the flu shot.
Hello, Wisconsin, we're back.
I'm going to shut down the virus.
Trump and Biden battle for Midwest voters. And Brian Burke on the NHL, fighting, and the loss of his son.
It's made me more empathetic, obviously, and got me involved with the LGBTQ community, which is a great blessing.
Why he says the league will be accepting of its first out player. This is The National. Canada has now smashed its record for the most reported COVID-19 cases in a single day, with more than 3,400. And amid eye-popping numbers, Manitoba might be the biggest shock. 480 cases, double its previous record, and this is not just one bad day. Nowhere in Canada have the numbers climbed so quickly. From October 1st, Manitoba's average daily cases doubled, then doubled again in just the past week. Compared to Canada's other big outbreaks, an average of 200-plus cases a day may not seem like much, but by population, Manitoba's rate is now the worst by far, and it's still accelerating. Cameron McIntosh shows us how the province is now trying to slam on the brakes.
Even before he spoke, Manitobans were dreading Dr. Brent Roussen's words.
We're left with no choice. We have to deal with this virus and the transmission now.
480 new cases, by far the province's biggest one-day spike, forcing Winnipeg into red-level restrictions, the rest of Manitoba into orange.
It's not the time to panic.
It's not the full lockdown of last spring. Schools stay open, at least as much as they already are. Non-essential retail can open to 25% capacity. Bars and restaurants are limited to takeout.
Today is a hard day.
It's happening now because critical care in Winnipeg is reaching its limits. 96% full. Not all COVID cases, but not enough room for cases expected to come.
The demand on our hospital and health system will continue to increase. And if that occurs, we will reach a point where our capacity is not able to stretch enough to meet it.
All in a province that was nearly COVID-free this summer as the government pushed a fast reopening. Now Ami Hassan is shutting down his falafel restaurant again.
On Monday, 80% of the employees won't be here.
Winnipeg's mayor urging everyone to stay home Halloween.
Now's the time for calm. It's time for compliance.
While the premier is warning of steep fines, there has been little effort at enforcement. A group of doctors wrote a letter calling for a full lockdown.
I think it's probably insufficient. It's risky. I think the likelihood at best is that it'll slow down the progress of the epidemic.
A government can't protect you from this virus.
This week, a frustrated Brian Pallister lashed out at people flouting restrictions.
So grow up and stop going out there and giving people COVID.
He didn't speak today, leaving it to non-elected health officials to explain and reassure.
We know exactly what we can and need to do.
Roussen says this will last at least 2 weeks. It's also what he said 2 weeks ago, the last time restrictions were tightened. The numbers haven't dropped yet. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Many Quebecers have been living with red zone restrictions now for almost a month, and today the province added 2 more regions. Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean, about 150 kilometers north of Quebec City, and Chaudière-Appalaches, just south of the capital. They're now red, and together that's about 700,000 people facing new restrictions. Since red zones began, the province has seen case rates slowly level off. The federal government released new modeling today, underscoring the need for Canadians to take action.
Collectively, we need to reduce those contacts as much as possible.
If we continue on the present course, the models project national case rates will jump from around 2,800 a day to more than 6,000 a day by December. But if people manage right now to reduce contacts by 25%, by December, case rates will have fallen below current levels. Canada's COVID Alert app is getting an upgrade. Ottawa announced today that users will soon be able to enter the time and date that symptoms started and they got tested. And that in turn will help to determine when users were most infectious and when those exposed were at the highest risk. The app is available in every province except for Alberta and BC. There is no vaccine for COVID yet, but flu vaccinations can relieve pressure on public health at a critical time. The message from Canada's leaders, get your flu shot. And it turns out Canadians have been listening. As Magda Gebrselassie shows us, despite increased supply, demand is overwhelming.
Mary Stamos never gets the flu shot, but this year she felt it was a life or death decision.
My mom's in palliative care and she's not doing so well. So I need to get this and just make sure I'm healthy enough and not, spread anything.
What she didn't realize is she's getting one of the last shots available at her local pharmacy.
I'm very grateful to Kiro. I'm sorry.
On Thursday, her pharmacist said he was told no more doses were coming for now.
We can't schedule patients for doses and then you wake up in the morning and none are being delivered.
While some pharmacies feel the squeeze, in Ottawa, Public Health says it has enough vaccines to cover those who have booked appointments. In a week, it's seen almost as many people as it did all of last year.
And this year, just in the first week in our 6 clinics, we have a little bit over 10,000 appointments booked for the first week.
Demand has shot up in Alberta, too.
If the pharmacy closest to you has long wait times, I'd encourage you to be patient, but also to try others that are nearby.
The federal government says it's releasing more doses to provinces. Getting even more is on the table.
We had sort of thought ahead and made sure that the contracts allow for increased supply.
Back in Toronto, turns out this pharmacist got a surprise shipment of 10 doses this morning, but he's still tackling a wait list of more than 200. He thinks there's an important lesson for governments about COVID-19.
They have to learn from the shortcomings of the flu shots so that they can do better with the COVID vaccine. It's very important.
He expects demand for the COVID vaccine, when it's available, to be far greater than the flu shot. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
And still ahead, some Halloween COVID advice to infectious disease specialists on how you should and should not celebrate Fright Night, depending on where you live. That's in about 20 minutes. If you thought COVID couldn't get any worse in the United States, well, today another record was broken. More than 88,000 new cases were reported, a jump of nearly 10,000 from yesterday. The total American case count has now passed the 9 million mark. And as Katie Simpson tells us, it's having an impact on the campaign 4 days before the presidential election.
Trailing in the national polls, the president is trying to make the most of his time. Jam-packing his schedule, Donald Trump will hold 4 rallies tomorrow, 5 on Sunday, and another 5 on Monday.
We were going to have the easiest campaign in history. I was up so much. Now I got to work, right? I have to work, and that's okay.
Trump returned to the Midwestern states that delivered his 2016 win, blaming the pandemic for hampering his re-election efforts.
Hello, Wisconsin. We're back. We're back. We're going to win.
Thousands of his mostly maskless supporters sympathized, even though COVID is surging through this part of the country.
Hospitals in every region of our state are experiencing staffing strains, all while COVID-19 hospitalizations continue to rise.
Trump did not acknowledge any strain. Instead, he falsely accused doctors of inflating COVID deaths for profit.
Our doctors get more money if somebody dies from COVID. You know that, right? When in doubt, choose COVID. It's true.
We have to vote to meet the challenge.
Physical distancing is mandatory at Democratic challenger Joe Biden's drive-in rallies.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus.
He too hit the Midwest, including Minnesota. Even though it's considered safe Democratic territory, Biden does not want to repeat the mistakes of 2016 and leave reliable voters feeling unappreciated.
I don't take anything for granted. We're going to work for every single vote up to the last minute.
Though Democrats are playing some offense too, Biden's running mate Kamala Harris campaigned today in Texas, a traditional Republican stronghold.
You have power, and at election time, that power will be through your vote.
Sending Kamala Harris to Texas right now sends 2 messages. Democrats think they actually have a shot at winning the state, and the bigger signal that overall they're feeling fairly confident. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
After 4 years of rocky relations with the Trump administration, the Canadian government is watching all of this very closely. As Salima Shivji shows, they're prepping strategies for both outcomes and for the possibility of some degree of chaos before it's all official.
Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, that's simply not true.
In between battles in the House,
I wanted to welcome you to our class today.
And virtual visits to high schools, Justin Trudeau and his advisors have been feverishly preparing, bracing for an uncertain result next Tuesday.
Obviously, as a government, we prepare for multiple contingencies and multiple outcomes. If it is less clear, there may be some disruptions, and we need to be ready for any outcomes.
The Prime Minister called former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney this week for advice and brought together Canada's ambassador to the U.S. and the heads of all 13 Canadian consulates there for a meeting, something that did not happen 4 years ago.
All of the policy files will have been looked at very closely for either a Trump or a Biden win, and the binders on those, which is what they call them, will be closed at this point.
The Trudeau government has learned all too well that prep is vital. But what looms now is the specter of a contested election.
Canadian prime ministers rarely have anything to gain by weighing into U.S. domestic politics, and potentially they have a lot to lose.
We've been here before, kind of.
The recount is already underway.
The infamous hanging Chads forced a recount in Florida and left the results in limbo for weeks. Back then, Canada was distracted and in the middle of its own election campaign.
We really watched it like everybody else watched it, and we counted on the expertise in the Canadian Embassy in Washington to tell us what was going on.
This time, some say Canada could face more public pressure to wade in, not only because of these warm ties.
President Trump is not a very popular figure. The majority of Canadians would like to see a Biden victory.
The Prime Minister has indicated his government will sit tight and wait, clearly aware that to do anything else, such as show support for one side, would be too reckless. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Ottawa.
The federal government appears poised to leave a major promise unfulfilled. It pledged in 2015 to end all long-term water advisories in First Nations communities by next March. But as Olivia Stefanovic shows us, not only are there still dozens left, one in particular has gotten even worse.
Home of the beaver. 9-year-old Bea Muniz and her teacher sing a song to remind themselves of home.
Blue Lake and Rocky Shore, I will return once more.
This hotel ballroom is now a classroom for evacuees of Niskandiga First Nation, flown 450 kilometers south to access safe drinking water after an oily sheen was discovered in their reservoir. The chief says his people were forced to choose between going without water or evacuating in the middle of a pandemic.
It's dehumanizing to my community. Why do we have to make that choice?
Canadian Rangers were due to arrive in the community today to act as support. But even when residents do go back, their tap water still won't be safe to drink.
These pictures were taken in 93.
Niskandiga has the longest standing boil water advisory in the country, dating back 25 years. During the 2015 election campaign, the First Nation appealed for the next Prime Minister to intervene, leading to this promise by Justin Trudeau.
Canadian government, led by me, will address this as a top priority.
Trudeau pledged to lift all long-term drinking water advisories on reserves by March 2021. It's crossed 96 off the list, but 60 remain in 41 communities.
We are still working very hard to reach our goal.
CBC News contacted all the First Nations that still have advisories. Nearly half say they won't have safe water running by the government's deadline due to construction delays and slowdowns caused by COVID-19.
I'd like to play a short video what they sent. Okay, here it goes.
Are we gonna get help? When is the water going to be fixed? When are we going home?
Those questions remain unanswered. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Toronto.
A First Nations band in southwest Nova Scotia says it will not fish its commercial lobster licenses this season.
Discussions with the fishermen that will be leasing those licenses are local band members, and they don't feel safe out there.
Sebega-Negedi band members say they will continue to operate their, quote, moderate livelihood fishery in the region. The RCMP, meantime, is looking to identify 2 men they believe connected to a fire that destroyed a fish plant last month. The plant was used to store lobster caught by Mi'kmaq fishermen. The Liberal government is revising its immigration plans disrupted by COVID-19. Ottawa hopes to bring in more than 1 million people over 3 years, citing the need for skilled workers and economic growth. Evan Dyer now with the details and the reaction.
It's no secret that the pandemic has made moving around the world a lot harder.
We hope that we will be at least at half of our overall target for 2020, and we look forward to making up for lost time going forward.
Ottawa hoped to bring in about 700,000 immigrants over the next couple of years. Now it will invite an extra 50,000 in each of the next 3 years.
The numbers were based on the assumption that borders and flows will open again here in the new year. We will have to see how that goes.
The business community is mostly in favor despite pandemic job losses.
We have higher unemployment than we did before the pandemic, but we're also hearing from our members across the board about labor market gaps and inability to fill vacancies.
Ordinary Canadians are divided.
They need younger people, educated people to come to the country and make the economy thrive.
I just think that it should be held off until we're through this. Why are we spending money when we should be spending on others coming in when we should be spending money on our own?
He needs to explain how that's going to work with the unemployment numbers we're facing.
My answer is very simple. Immigration creates jobs. 1 in 3 business owners is an immigrant. They employ over 250,000 Canadians on their payrolls.
Conservative immigration critic Raquel Dancho says the pandemic, rather than the minister, will ultimately decide how many immigrants make it to Canada.
So bringing in over 400,000 people, which is more than in successive generations to bring into Canada when the world's borders and visa offices and embassies are closed and the Liberal government has failed to provide widespread rapid testing, is just complete fantasy.
The opposition says the government needs to process new arrivals better than it has done, and that means better and faster screening for COVID-19. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Chelsea, Quebec.
For the first time since leaving his job in August, as the We charity controversy swirled and leaks suggested he was at odds with the Prime Minister, former Finance Minister Bill Morneau is giving a sit-down interview. He's running to become Secretary General of the global economic think tank OECD. And he tells our chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton, the resignation was necessary.
I just wonder whether we would be having this conversation and you would be running for this job if those other things hadn't happened, the leaks and the We controversy.
Well, let me tell you, I think we would, because I really was thinking about the Secretary General of the OECD job before and recognized that you can't be a sitting finance minister and run for a global position at the same time. So that was my conclusion. So, you know, it always is a little bit messy when you leave politics. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the sport. There are no rules, and you've got to find your way out. And I'm happy to have done it, and I'm looking forward to the next steps.
You can watch Rosie's full interview this Sunday on her brand new show. Rosemary Barton Live airs at 10 a.m. Eastern on CBC News Network, GEM, and cbcnews.ca, and 11 a.m. everywhere on CBC Television. Overseas in Turkey, more than a dozen people have been killed and hundreds injured when a massive earthquake struck between the Turkish coast and Greece. Stephanie Mercier has the details.
It hit in the middle of the afternoon, rocking homes and buildings in parts of Turkey and Greece, sending some crashing down. Everywhere was collapsing down, says this man. We were really panicked and managed to go out at the very last minute. Friday's earthquake was centered in the Aegean Sea, close to Izmir, Turkey's third largest city. At least a dozen people were killed and several buildings were leveled. On the Greek island of Samos, 2 teenagers were found dead under the rubble and streets were flooded from tidal waves. Friday's earthquake had a magnitude of 7.0, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Experts say that's large, but not huge.
Typically, we see more than a dozen earthquakes in the order of 15 or 16 of this magnitude each year around the world. So it's not a terribly unusual earthquake. But because it was so close to some major cities, that's where we really see these impacts.
Drone footage shows some of those impacts in this part of Turkey, where experts say quakes are also commonplace. Some are already raising questions about the construction of newer buildings.
If there's some poor construction or corruption in the system, there's no way that you can escape from the total collapse.
Rescuers worked after dark, even as aftershocks continued to rattle. The additional challenge, as with everything these days, is COVID-19, keeping people isolated even when their homes are gone. Stephanie Mercier, CBC News, Vancouver.
Torrential rain is being blamed for a landslide that left at least 9 dead in El Salvador last night. The frantic search continues for dozens of missing people about an hour outside the capital. The slide occurred around midnight local time. It's said to have swept along a nearly 4-kilometer stretch. A total of 135 homes were damaged or destroyed. And memorials continue to grow in France as the country mourns those killed in yesterday's knife attack in Nice. Officials say they now have a second suspect in custody, believed to have been in contact with the attacker the night before the murders. Security has been stepped up across the country, with France's national alert at its highest level. Today, Belgium became the latest European country to announce a national lockdown.
I think if we go on our current path, it's not too dissimilar to how they've been handling it in Europe.
Up next, lessons for Canada from Europe's second wave. Plus, tips and tricks for a safe Halloween, no matter where you live.
What is recommended for Halloween night in terms of handling the candy?
We put your questions to our panel of doctors. And later, my conversation with hockey analyst and former NHL executive Brian Burke.
The first guy that comes out will be welcomed. They don't care who he goes home with.
His message about LGBTQ inclusion in the sport. We're back in 2. Traffic around Paris hit record levels last night as residents left the city just before a second national lockdown came into effect. People have been ordered to stay home except for essential work or medical reasons. Belgium also set to go into lockdown starting Monday as the country battles one of the highest infection rates in Europe. There's word tonight that Boris Johnson also considering new national lockdown measures for the United Kingdom. Health reporter Christine Burak looks at whether Europe's second wave has any lessons to offer Canada.
People now need a good reason to be outside anywhere in France. Hospital beds in Belgium are full. Patients are being sent to Germany, which is also moving back into partial lockdown.
The virus will overwhelm our healthcare systems if we do not act urgently.
The virus is spreading so fast in some European countries, it's beyond worst-case scenarios. We asked infectious disease experts if Canada could be headed the same way.
I think if we go on our current path, in terms of how we're handling COVID, it's not too dissimilar to how they've been handling it in Europe, to be honest with you.
Dr. Andrew Morris says Europe and North America are following a hammer and dance approach. Hammer the virus with lockdowns, then reopen and dance around it, trying to maintain low levels of transmission, while some Asian countries like Japan and South Korea are aggressively testing, tracing and isolating cases.
What they've tried to do is not only beat it down a first time, but really not ever let COVID reemerge to any degree after that initial hammer.
But country comparisons can be tricky.
It's very hard to footprint those success stories here, dealing with the context of our culture, our geography, our politics, and our privacy issues.
Canada is often referred to as a country of rule followers, but Dr. Chagla says COVID fatigue in Europe offers important lessons for this country.
You're getting less and less public buy-in, and it is much more important to get that communication out there and to get the public as a stakeholder.
Most experts say at this point transparency is crucial. They say without using names, health experts should start revealing chains of transmission between people, show how easily this virus moves. It could persuade more Canadians to reduce their contacts. Christine Burak, CBC News, Toronto.
When we come back, staying safe this Halloween. What should trick-or-treating during a pandemic look like? Our doctors are in with their do's and don'ts. And later, how streaming services are helping bring the Halloween party to you this year. Halloween is likely a little scarier for most Canadian families this year as they try to navigate trick-or-treating during a pandemic. Many of you are probably wondering about the risks. The Prime Minister and his family aren't taking any chances.
My family will not be going trick-or-treating this year because in Ottawa and in Ontario, in red zones like Ottawa, they are not encouraging or not recommending trick-or-treating, and therefore we won't be.
In Toronto and Ottawa, people are being asked to celebrate Halloween at home. In Quebec, kids can go out as long as they stay with members of their own household. While in BC, health officials want people to keep their trick-or-treating groups to 6 people or fewer. So how can Halloween be done safely in this year of COVID? Oh, some answers. We're joined by infectious disease specialists Dr. Susie Hoda and Dr. Isaac Bogosh. And let me start with you, Dr. Hoda. In Ontario, as you know, the message in many zones not to go trick-or-treating in those hot spots. What do you make of that advice?
Well, I think first and foremost, we all have to follow what our public health authorities are telling us to do in the region where we live. But that said, I personally don't think that trick-or-treating itself is the riskiest thing that you can do in Halloween. I mean, it's primarily done outdoors, and it's not that hard to actually integrate public health safety measures into your trick-or-treating. What I worry about is by prohibiting trick-or-treating in some hotspots, people might end up having parties instead. And that's where we're seeing a lot of transmission happening. And it's been continuing to drive transmission in hotspots and what we should be avoiding.
And Dr. Bogosh, what would you like to add?
I completely agree with Dr. Hota. I think this can be a low-risk endeavor, but of course we should be adhering to our public health guidelines, and people should just look out to see what the recommendation is for their region and adhere to it. It's as simple as that.
Now, there are many places across the country that are allowing trick-or-treating. Some have local guidelines. Some aren't so clear on what people should do. So let's go to a video question. Dr. Bogosh, I'll direct this to you. Here are Leilani and Kaya Wong in Richmond, British Columbia.
What precautions are good for trick-or-treaters?
All right, Dr. Bogosh, that question. What precautions are good for trick-or-treaters?
That's a great question. I think if you are allowed to go trick-or-treating, there's a few precautions that we should all take. One is to stay outside. We know outdoor environments are much safer than indoor environments. The second is to stick within your family unit. We should be avoiding large crowds, which might need some parental guidance there to make sure kids don't run off and join a large crowd. Masks would also be very, very helpful. And then, of course, we have to adhere to good hand hygiene in addition to that. So it's a good idea to have some alcohol hand sanitizer with us. But those are just simple rules, simple things that we can abide by to make trick-or-treating a lot safer.
All right. Dr. Hoda, here's something you and I spoke about last weekend on Cross Country Checkup. This is in a video question from Lori Checkley in Calgary.
I'm just wondering, as a concerned parent, what is recommended for Halloween night in terms of handling the candy to prevent any transmission with the coronavirus?
Right, so that's also a really excellent question. And I think over time we've learned that surface-based transmission of the virus that causes COVID-19 is lesser of a concern. It's not completely eliminated as a concern, but it's lesser of a concern. So I don't think that there's any need for elaborate disinfection protocols around, candy wrappers or anything like that. But what is really important is that you wash your hands frequently as you're handling the candy. So I'd suggest washing hands, opening the wrapper of a candy bar or whatever it might be, putting it into a bowl, tossing the wrapper, and then washing hands again before you're going to go ahead and eat the candy. Now, if people aren't comfortable with that because they're really in an area where there's more COVID than they'd like to see, you can quarantine the candy for 3 days. Just be prepared to have patience on hand for your children who might not really like that idea.
Yeah, that's the mother in you as opposed to the doctor in you coming out with that last little bit. And so let me get a last comment from each of you. Here we are on the eve of Halloween, and as parents, you know how important that night is to kids, but also as infectious disease doctors, you know how important it is, as you've said, to follow the rules. So, Dr. Hoda, last thoughts on this?
Nothing is free of risk during this pandemic, so it's all about balancing risk. And, I think it can be done safely, so listen to what your public health authorities are saying and enjoy one night of a bit of a release from this reality.
And Dr. Bogosh?
I'm with Dr. Hoda on this one. I think obviously we have to adhere to our public health guidelines. People that are going out trick-or-treating, there's easy ways that you can do this safely. We really just have to avoid close contact in indoor environments. We should really avoid all those indoor settings if at all possible, because that's where we know the virus is most easily transmitted.
And are either of you into dressing up? Is that part of your plan for the weekend?
I am dressed up.
Well,
Some of us don't need it, Ian.
I will be very disappointed if there are not any Dr. Hodas or Dr. Bogoshes trick-or-treating on this weekend. I'll be on alert since I'm here to see if anybody does fulfill that promise. Thanks to both of you, and I hope you have a great weekend.
You will.
You too.
If you have any post-Halloween questions about COVID-19, send them to us. You can message us on Instagram at CBC The National or send us an email at covid@cbc.ca. And just ahead, I sit down with hockey's Brian Burke.
I don't care if people like me. I've never cared and I never will. I'm not running for office.
You might be surprised to hear some of his views, including how he feels about fighting on and off the ice. That's next. Welcome back. Brian Burke has developed an almost legendary no-nonsense style, most famously running multiple NHL teams and as a league executive. We talked about his new memoir, his insights on hockey, family, and from a guy with a gruff exterior, about empathy. If there's one word that sums up Brian Burke, it is truculent.
They won a goddamn lottery. They got the best player in the game. Is that available to me?
He played with truculence, and it's a quality he sought out on the NHL teams that he built. Turning truculence into a hockey term, well, that also tells you something about the cerebral side of Burke. Harvard law grad, analytical, but also gruff and fearless, a quality you can see in his current job on Hockey Night in Canada. Whether it's his defense of fighting or his support for LGBTQ causes, You Can Play works to eliminate anti-gay attitudes in sport.
We're now joined by hockey players from around the world supporting my son Brendan's simple message.
And in part, it's a way for him to honor his son Brendan, who died in a car accident. And he wrote about that in his new memoir, Burke's Law.
He was handsome and smart and sweet, and everybody loved him. I know that he would have been a star, and we're going to make sure that his legacy continues.
We spoke in his Toronto home, careful to stay distant physically. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Shake hands, but we're not supposed to.
Exactly. We'll stay 6 feet apart here. And the tie remains untied?
The tie remains untied.
Okay. Hockey fans know who you are, but probably some of our viewers don't. How would you describe yourself to them?
Well, I think what people see is the persona I wanted to cultivate as a league executive and a team executive was a gruff, no-nonsense guy. And that's what people think, and that's fine.
Okay, so flesh that out for us a little bit. What are you actually like?
Well, around my family and friends, I have a good sense of humor. I like to joke around. Like to have a beer, like to talk hockey, like to spend time with my kids. I do a lot of charitable work, and people know about some of that, and a lot of it they don't, and that's fine too.
But you know, the outside of your face is still not smiling at this point.
Well, I don't smile that much. So.
How do you like the TV gig?
I love it. I like the people I work for. My bosses are really good, and I like the people I work with. I get to talk hockey. I get to watch hockey. I love it.
I want to ask you a personal question. You know, here's a book here with your son, Brendan. Very touching in your book as you talk about his death in a car crash. How has that changed you?
Well, I would say it's made me more empathetic, obviously, and got me involved with the LGBTQ community, which is a great blessing. Other than that, I would say it hasn't changed me much. People around me think it has, but I would say I just tried to soldier on.
And in terms of your advocacy, support for the LGBTQ community, no active player has come out, identified themselves as being gay. No doubt there are players who are gay. What will it take to change that?
Well, I think people think that the burden of coming out is that the player's worried about how his teammates will perceive him or how the public will perceive him, when in fact, when you talk to people, the battle about coming out is usually based on a close family member that doesn't approve. So your dad might accept you, but his brother might not. And that's the people I've talked to have wrestled with this decision. It's not about sponsorship or endorsements or how your teammates will perceive you. It's much closer to you than that in your family.
But from the outside looking in, hockey seems like such a small C conservative place. And in your book, people are threatening, like executives are threatening to fight each other, and it just seems like a really rough kind of place. And I just wonder if that makes it even tougher for a player who's gay to contemplate coming out.
Well, I think there's a culture in hockey that would have discouraged a player like that, but I think that's all changed. I really do. I remember talking to my players about it in Toronto, and they're like, the first guy that comes out will be welcomed. The whole key is, can he help us win? They don't care who he goes home with. They're like, can you help us win? And that's the whole mission of You Can Play. If you can play, you can play. Is if you can contribute to this team, you're welcome here. Doesn't matter what church you go to, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter who you go home with. So that's, I think the first player that comes out is going to find great acceptance throughout the league and throughout society.
And if he's looking right now, watching this right now, what would you say to him?
I always hope the first player that came out on one of my teams, so that I could make sure it was a safe environment for him. But I would say to that player, come out. You'll find the world is ready for you. The hockey world is ready for you.
Let's talk about fighting. And I know some people are going to roll their eyes, either that I'm asking you about fighting or that you're going to say there's a place for fighting. But that's very much your view, right?
Yes. I think there is a place for fighting. I think it keeps accountability in the game. I would hate to see the day come when fighting is banned in the league. I'm sure that day is going to come, but I hope I'm not around to see it.
But I'm old enough and a big enough hockey fan that I always just assumed that fighting would be part of the game. But lately I've heard players talk about, retired players, about the lasting damage fighting caused them, broken orbital bones, emotional pain, people who would dread going to the rink because they knew the next day they were going to fight somebody, not as a safety valve, but as a contrived kind of arranged fight. And I just wonder if we've kind of been sold a bill of goods when it comes to fighting.
No, I don't think so. If people say you have fighting because it sells tickets, well, if that's the case, we're doing a pretty poor job of it, because you're going to see a fight every fourth game now in the NHL. So if that's the case, that's not it. The stage fight, a lot of times people would say, oh, that's a stage fight, whereas a more knowledgeable hockey person would know that goes back 8 games ago when they played, and that player got a cheap shot in on somebody. I mean, I fought a guy once 2 years after he cheap shotted me. I didn't get a chance to fight him for 2 years, then I fought him. and he said to me, what was that for? And I told him, and he said, he remembered. He speared me in the back of my calf. So that was when I was a junior in college. The next year he turned pro. It was Dave Lumley, played for Edmonton. The next year he turned pro, so I played my senior year. And then the next year I was a rookie in the American League, and I fought him the first time I was on the ice with him. So to me, it's not about selling tickets. And the notion that guys would lose sleep and stay up, there were guys that would have 40 fighting majors back in the day. And it was crazy. And the league has legislated that type of fighting out and that volume of fighting out. But the notion that someone runs your goaltender and someone's going to step up and do something about it, I hope we always keep that in the game.
The story you tell, you and Dave Lumley, kind of highlights 2 things about you. First of all, you hold a grudge.
Yeah, I'm Irish. We're professionals at it.
And the other, I almost saw a smile there, by the way. And the second thing about you is you are unabashedly an advocate of fighting, not just on the ice, but I mean, you kind of are willing to fight off the ice as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that are worth fighting for in my mind. So I'm not afraid of that. I don't apologize for that. I worry that, I'll tell you a story. I was with a guy about 10 years ago now. We were doing a level 6 coaching seminar in Washington. And he said to me, I'm worried about my kids. The boys were 10 and 11. They'd never been in a fight. And he said, when you were a kid, didn't you get in fights on the playground? Didn't you, it was fun, it was something to do. And he said they'd never been in a fight. So these kids now, they look for a grown-up when there's a problem. And we used to just sort it out. And I worry that we're going too far the other way.
So for that guy who cultivated this persona of being aggressive and abrasive and truculent, at the end of the book, how should they see you?
However they want. I just hope I hope that it wasn't this mission to people to say, I want you to understand me and like me. I don't care if people like me. I've never cared and I never will. I'm not running for office. And as I said in the book, this happens routinely. I'll speak to a group and someone will come up to me afterwards and say, I never liked you, but I do now. And as Jennifer, my ex-wife, used to say, you have a chance to make a friend there. Just say thank you. And what I say to the guy is, I didn't care what you thought yesterday, and I certainly don't care today, because I don't. Like the number of people I care about, deeply care about, it's a very small number. So I hope people enjoy the book, first of all. That's why you write a book, that people will enjoy it and learn something from it. And that was my mission. They learned something about hockey, learned something about some of the other aspects of life, but it's certainly not an appeal to, hey, like me more or like me better, because I don't care. I slept great last night. I'll sleep great tonight.
Well, I learned some stuff in the book about you and about hockey, and I enjoyed it, so I guess mission accomplished.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
After the break, no Halloween party? No problem.
There's just a visceral rush of everyone kind of doing something together.
How streaming services are stepping up to connect people in a COVID-safe kind of way. Welcome back. With Halloween almost here, many Canadians are struggling with disappointment. Physical distancing means no big parties, which is too bad since it's hard to fully show off that clever astronaut werewolf costume on a 20-person Zoom chat. I'll just let that sink in for a moment. But streaming companies are helping Canadians share some thrills. Eli Glasner explains.
Halloween's upon us! Pre-pandemic, Halloween meant trick-or-treating in costumes, maybe seeing old friends, or just getting spooked. We shall be back! But this year, film fans are finding safe ways to make screen time scream time. As the pandemic set in, Disney, Amazon, and all major streaming platforms have introduced methods to let people watch together while still apart.
We want to make sure that they're not going to go out and party this weekend.
Scary watch parties are helping keep the Halloween spirit alive at Ontario's Durham College.
We'll be putting on...
This student events organizer says sharing the viewing experience has become therapeutic.
And I'll go into these chats and just start engaging because we're missing that for our mental health. We're missing that connection.
I just embarrassed myself in front of Mr. Nicolas Cage.
Film curators like Peter Kapowski, used to sharing cult cinema treasures with fans, are now hosting live screenings on the video game streaming site Twitch.
You know, I've always enjoyed wanting to show these movies with an audience is because I love the communal aspect of an audience reacting to a movie together.
I forbid you! Whether it's joining forces with independent theaters or screening from the radical editing collective Racer Trash,
Prince Dracula.
The result is a rowdy chat room with the same electric atmosphere.
And there's just a visceral rush of everyone kind of doing something together in support of film and the shared passion that's really infectious.
When it comes to cinema, anything goes.
This weekend, Andrea Subasati will be one of many horror hosts presenting Halloween watch parties. She says home viewing just fits.
Those among my age group came of age watching horror on VHS. Like they would get it from the video store, they'd watch it in their parents' basement. So I actually feel like it's something of a return to form.
It's showtime. The safe way for some scary good times. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
Up next, how kids are getting creative this Halloween.
3, 2, 1.
From candy cannons to distinctly 2020 costumes. Their stories next in our moment. Kids dressing up as doctors, pretty normal Halloween stuff, but this year, one medical costume is very specific. 9-year-old Addie dressing up as New Brunswick's Chief Medical Health Officer, Dr. Jennifer Russell. Just another way Halloween is different this year. Something New Brunswick's 11-year-old Eric Prowse can confirm. He made his very own candy chute with some power behind it, and that is our moment.
We're looking at a candy cannon, homemade, and it is made out of about 6 pieces. 1 piece to hold, 2 of the same pieces to hold them up, and 1 right here. Then we have 2 tubes taped together right about the middle, and so this is where the candy will come out. And then we have this hose that is attached to a compressor. Go get the candy. Get it here. And now we load. Take the tube that attaches to the compressor and 3, 2.
So I don't want to say good things have come out of the pandemic, but it is interesting to see some of the creativity around Halloween. And I know we were talking about it last week on the radio on Cross Country Checkup, how many creative candy delivery systems there are across the country. Plus, people dressing up as medical health officers. There better be a Dr. Bonnie Henry. Somebody wants to dress up as an aging news anchor. I can help you out. That is The National for October 30th. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday night. Good night.